Hello, beautiful people. I'm so glad that you came. In today's lesson, you're going to learn all about rounding to the nearest 10 and to the nearest 100. Now, you might say, why on earth do I need to round to the nearest 10 or to the nearest 100? Well, it can help you balance out your checks when you're cashing those big checks at the bank, or it can help you figure out how much money you're going to spend at the grocery store. Don't forget to stay to the end of the video, give this video 2 thumbs up, and subscribe to the Learning Locket. Rounding to the nearest 10 and to the nearest 100. Our objectives are to round 2- and 3-digit numbers and to explain the process of rounding numbers. Our keywords are digit, which is a number, any number, such as 1, 2, and 3. Round, which means to find the closest number to estimate, which is a close number, and an estimate is a close guess. If I were to think of something that reminds me of rounding, it would be a roller coaster. Numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 round down, and numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 round up. Let's go over some tips to round to the nearest 10. First, you'll need to know multiples of 10, or to skip count by 10. You'll need to know the number that's in the tens place, but look to the ones place to decide whether to round up or down. Now let's go over some tips to round to the nearest 100. When you're rounded to the nearest 100, you'll need to know multiples of 100, or being able to skip count by 100s. You'll need to identify the number that's in the hundreds place, but look to the tens place to decide whether you round up or down. Here are some helpful tools. If it's less than 5, round down. 5 or more, round up. And you'll also need scratch paper when you're just getting started. Here's a number line that's counting by tens, and here's a number line counting by 100s. Let's go over a few examples, starting at the number 53 rounded to the nearest 10. If you're rounding to the nearest 10, you have to look to the ones place. So I'm just going to draw a place value chart and plug in the number 53. The 5 is in the tens place, the 3 is in the ones place. The number that's in the ones place is a 3. I need to know multiples of 10, so I'm going to draw a number line counting by tens up to 100. The number 53 is in between 50 and 60. Now I'm going to break this down a little bit more. I'm going to create a number line counting from 50 all the way up to 60 and find where the number 53 is. Now I'm going to count backwards how many numbers are in between 53 and 50, and that's 3. And now I'm going to count forward how many numbers are between 53 and 60, and that's 7. 53 is closer to 50 than to 60. So 53 rounds to 50. Let's try it another way. Again, I'm rounding 53 to the nearest 10. I've written the number 53 down and underlined the number that's in the ones place, because this will be the number to help me decide to round up or down. 3 is in the ones place between the numbers 50 and 60. If the number in the ones place is less than 5, I round down to 50. If the number in the ones place is more than 5, I round up to 60. So 53 rounded to the nearest 10 is 50. Now let's try another number, 87 rounded to the nearest 10. First, I'm going to draw my place value chart and plug in the number 87. 8 is in the tens place, 7 is in the ones place. 7 is the number that I will look to find out whether I round 87 up or down. Then I'm going to draw multiples of 10, starting at 10, counting all the way up to 100. The number 87 is in between 80 and 90. Now I'm going to break this down a little bit further just to find out exactly how far 87 is from 80 and 87 is from 90. And I'm drawing loops, and I'm going to count the loops at the end. Now, as you can see, 87 is 7 numbers away from 80, and On the other end, 87 is 3 numbers from 90. So 87 is closer to 90 than 80. So 87 rounded to the nearest 10 is 90. Let's try it again using our rounding roller coaster. The numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 tell us to round down. The numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 tell us that we should round up. 87 is between the numbers 80 and 90. We're looking at the digit 7, which is in the ones place. 7 is on the upside of the roller coaster. Therefore, 87 rounded to the nearest 10 is 90. Let's try another one. 96 rounded to the nearest 10. We got our place value chart. The 9 goes in the tens place, the 6 goes into the ones place. Let's go ahead and get our number line on here. And 96 is in between 90 and 100. We're going to break it down between 90 and 100 to see where 96 falls. Now, if we count backwards from 96 to 90, there will be 6 numbers in between. And if we count forward from 96 to 100, there will be 4 numbers in between. 96 is closer to 100, so 96 rounded to the nearest 10 is 100. And if we're trying it on our rounding roller coaster, 96 is in between 90 and 100, so 96 rounded to the nearest 10 will round up to 100. Now let's practice rounding to the nearest 100. The first number we're going to round is 153. And just like the rules we had for rounding to the nearest 10, we also have rules for rounding to the nearest 100. We'll need to know our place value. We'll need to know multiples of 100 or being able to skip count by 100. And we'll also need to look to the tens place to decide whether we round up or down. So let's begin by skip counting from 100 up until 1000. The number 153 is between 100 and 200. Let's break it down. Now we're skip counting from 100 up until 200. 153 is about right there. And as you can see, it's closer to 200. Therefore, 153 rounded to the nearest 100 is 200. If we follow our rule, the number that's in the tens place, 5 or more, tells you to round up. Therefore, 153 rounded to the nearest 100 is 200. Let's round 287 to the nearest 100. We're going to start with our place value chart. Hundreds, tens, and ones. The 2 goes into the hundreds place, the 8 goes in the tens place, and the 7 goes in the ones place. And this time, because we're rounding to the nearest 100, we have to look to the tens place to decide whether we round the number up or down. We're going to start counting by 100s up until 1000. The number 287 falls in between the numbers 200 and 300, and it's about right here on this number line. And if we break this down a little bit further, we'll find out how close 287 is to either 200 or 300. So that's 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, 300. And 287 is right about here. 287 is closer to 300, so 287 rounded to the nearest 100 is 300. And if you bring in our roller coaster, you'll know that 287 falls between 200 and 300. The number that's in the tens place is an 8. 8 is greater than 5, so 8 will tell us to round 287 to 300. Let's try 396 rounded to the nearest 100. And if we use what we've learned before, we know that 3 is in the hundreds place and 9 is in the tens place. 9 is the number that's going to tell us whether we round 396 up or down. 9 is greater than 5, so 9 lets us know that 396 rounded to the nearest 100 is 400. Today you have learned to round to the nearest 10 and to the nearest 100. Don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to the Learning Locket. I'll see you next time.